coming to you live from the largest British prison in the known universe. It's time for Destiny Down Under.
G'day and welcome to the 168th episode of the Destiny Down Under podcast. That's right, I actually checked before we launched this episode so that I'd know what episode number it was because I fucked it up the last 2 weeks. That's how professional this actually is. As always, I'm Lord Power Slave, and as always, I'm joined by Norman James. This week, we've got a very special guest in the house. I'd like to make very welcome Jake, Laze Summerstone, the Watermelon Exo, a man of many names, but an absolute...
Hey guys.
Absolute pillar of the Destiny art community for forever. Forever. How you going, mate?
Thank you. Hey, how's it going? I'm
yeah, good. You know,
like stuck here in my quarantine times, and I'm just, you know, living life.
just staying inside. I mean, it's good for us because we can literally get anyone we want on the podcast at the moment because they can't.
Yeah, that's true.
Oh, I have a thing on. No,
there's no escape.
No, you don't. Did you hear? Did you see? Like, was it Ice-T or something? He was like,
"Oh, that was the best tweet of the pandemic."
If anyone owes you money, go to their house right now. You know they're gonna be there.
Yeah, well, A, you can wear a mask, and B, you know they're gonna be home.
Perfect.
Oh, that must have been I didn't miss that bottom, but yeah, great.
Yeah, it's good. I mean, thankfully, no one particularly owes me money, so I can skip that whole, violence step of the process. But it's been weird. It's getting
also,
real weird.
Really,
the whole world's locked down, but
that really goes against like social distancing and everything. So
I mean, you just need a 1.5 meter long stick, really, don't you? Then you can, like a scythe or something. Give me my thing, or a big, like a long sword. A buster.
It wouldn't work in Australia because no one has guns. You'd be like in their backyard, oi, give me my money. No.
No.
You can't count
the Bugs Bunny. No. Anyway, all jokes aside, we'll do the quick round the grounds. Maddie, how are you? How have you been? How's your week been?
I've got a problem.
Oh, yeah, we've just had this conversation.
So Mountain Blade 2 came out and I watched it on stream. I thought this looks like fucking shithouse. Then I played it and now I'm like a gambling addict. I've been playing it to like game. I played it to midnight last night. I got up this morning and played it. I didn't stream. It's affecting my life. And then, I did a bunch of streams with it. I don't know if I think it's actually pretty interesting to watch. It's got a lot of, to be honest, I think there's a lot of similarities with Destiny. There's a lot of downtime where you can just talk to chat and then there's something cool will happen. But yeah, I've been playing a lot of that. I've been playing a little bit of Tarkov. I haven't, first week since Season of Worthy came out, I haven't played Destiny this week. I had everyone come into my chat and be like, "Oh, what do you think about the cutscene with Zavala?" And I'm like, "I don't know what you're talking about."
Oh, I can step you through it. It's good. Or have you seen
you step me through it?
I can step you through it. Are you going to get the log cliff notes of the Zavala cutscene?
Oh, I would love nothing more than the log cliff notes. Fucking that. But yeah, that's I got my final PhD presentation in a couple weeks' time, so it's fucking all systems go at the moment. I'm trying to make different Destiny content. I got to make something for Monday. I'm working on a Cruci video in the background, so yeah, it's been busy, man.
You're working on a Crucible video?
You're gonna do a montage or something?
Yeah, I'm doing like my Quantum Melon shit, but with Destiny.
Oh, that'll be funny. Yeah, people are like that. You're pretty safe.
That'd be good.
It's not tips, is it? Because
no. I'm doing like that memey shit with my experience with going to the lighthouse with all my fucking raginess in there.
Did you clip that thing where you blew up on my stream the other week?
No, I haven't been able to get it yet.
All right. Okay. I'll see if I can find it before it disappears off the VODs forever.
I can't remember what day it was.
It's all good. It's all good.
We have to think about it. Anyway, that's me.
Someone
All
will
right. Well, what we might do, I mean, my week has been a week. That's basically been it. I've been working from home a little bit and working from work a little bit and trying to just keep the wheels on life. It's fucking weird, actually, because it's the longer this goes on, like my life hasn't changed really at all. Like it's more stressful. But watching everyone else's lives change is really weird. My folks finally got home from Western Australia, so they managed to travel from basically Matt's house to my house across the entirety of Australia in a week and a
How
bit.
did they get across? Aren't the roads closed?
Nah, well, they basically have to sign a thing saying that they won't stop through the entirety of South Australia. There was one place that they could stop, and they controlled the shit out of it, and then
Yeah.
boom.
That is
So-
extreme.
Yeah,
What the
Yeah,
heck?
well, because Australia is so spread out, and our healthcare obviously is clustered to central
Major
cities.
Yeah.
If there's an outbreak rural, everyone get fucked.
Yeah,
Like,
I don't think we've got to that stage here, and the U.S. is pretty spread out too. But
Yeah, but I think you have a lot more people in your rural towns are probably like our fucking cities basically.
okay.
Whereas our rural towns could have, a couple thousand people in them.
Yeah.
right,
Yeah.
uh,
I think that's the main difference. That and, like a few 100 million people.
mm, yeah.
I think we're at what, like 25, and I think America's like 550 or something.
Jesus.
So yeah, probably a disproportionately large part of the Destiny community is Australian in that respect, just by weight of population. But here we go. So yeah, it's been weird, and sort of Easter long weekend, traditionally a pretty family oriented weekend. It's been dominated by house party calls with all of the family members and stuff. So something different, but it's all good.
How infuriating is it talking to non-gamers
It's
without
fucked.
microphones and headsets?
It's fucking abysmal. I got up and walked away. Rachel's family were in one last night. I got up and walked away because it's like just kids yelling, and I'm like, oh my god, I got a migraine after 2 minutes. Just too much. Just trying to control my own kids, and everyone else's kids are just trying to get in there and like fucking. Oh god. Like, no. I'm gonna go back to me little man cave with me stupid purple lights and hide. But I mean, really, for you, Jake, this has been an ongoing thing for a hell of a lot longer than the rest of us. You're in Seattle. It was one of the places that it really kicked off initially in the States. So how are you holding up? More importantly than anything else.
We started like maybe 2 months ago or something, a month and a half ago, and they pretty much shut down everything. Shut down bars, shut down restaurants, and no one's allowed really to go outside unless you like staying away from everyone else. I guess that's the same as most places, but Seattle pretty much like they kind of put a stop to people socializing like pretty quick. So that was a good thing, at least. Like
I think like, and this is my I live thousands of kilometers away from Seattle and have never been there. Person's take on it, but as sort of a hub for some pretty tech heavy stuff, I feel like it'd probably adapt a little bit easier to this sort of thing than some of the other major cities around the states that are starting to see this sort of stuff on the rise.
Yeah, I think for a lot of at least like the workforce and everything, like they at least could stay at home because maybe they're used to like video calls and conferencing and stuff and working on computers. So because it's all big tech, there's a big tech workforce up here too. So it was like the transition was smooth for a lot of people. I mean, there's a lot of people who are, and that really, really sucks. And they're struggling right now. And so it's hard pretty much everywhere. But yeah, at least I think they kind of did. I've seen a lot of graphs where it's like, mapping all the cities, and Seattle has like pretty much like flattened the curve of, we have like less people getting the virus than
that's kind of where we are as a country. Australia is kind of at that point where we're starting to see that downturn on the exponential graphs and whatnot. And
And that's
while
good.
it's
But this
encouraging,
weekend will be a test.
yeah,
This weekend will be
it's
a
going to
test.
come right at the best or worst case time where everyone has the opportunity to stay at home because it's a long weekend. Whether or not they
Yeah.
do is going to be a different.
Yeah, see if they
fucking kettle of
behave
fish.
and everything.
So I don't know what happens if people don't. Maybe it's just
Like I was saying before the podcast, Danny's needed to go to the house, so she just took the dog for a drive down the coast. We live quite close to the beach, so he just went down the coast road's quite nice. You got fucking mansions on one side, and you've got beautiful views on the other. And she said it was fucking packed. The car parks were completely packed, like it was the middle of fucking summer. And
Yeah.
she's like, this is ridiculous. She's like, they have to close the beaches because people aren't listening.
Yeah, that's scary. That's some
What a-
scary shit.
You know what I see? I like to think up alternate solutions to problems like this. What they need
Yes.
to do is get the fire brigade involved. Because if the fire brigade turn up
Just
in the
hose 'em.
car park and just hose every son of a bitch that tries to go to the beach, then we don't have this problem. Just back in
I
your
just
car.
imagine, like-
Fuck off. I
just
mean,
imagine, like you got, I don't know how much American beaches are the same, but you've got sand dunes and you've got like a sandy path that goes down to the beach. I just imagine this line of firefighters hiding behind the sand dunes with fucking the hoses, and as soon as everyone lines up to go down the beach, it's like send them straight back to their cars.
Yeah.
get back in your car,
actually,
or I'll spray you
I
back
was
to
just
the
hearing,
Stone
like,
Age.
I was hearing stuff where like they can get your license plate like if you go and take your car down to the beach and stuff. So they've been like
Yeah.
they might be thinking about
Well, we have
recording people's licenses and stuff.
we have some a football player and a minister, I think, that broke the like everyone saw them go back cross borders, go back
Do
to
you
their
know
holiday home,
The dude,
and they're going to get maybe a $1,500 fine.
the minister, like his holiday house that he's come to is like 40 minutes from here. He left Sydney and drove for an hour and a half to his holiday home when they were telling everyone to stay put. What a fucking
Wow.
moron. Like,
Wow.
and now he's been fined and had a sook about it. They should be just give the dude give him the axe. Get out. Just fuck. He's an arts
Nat
minister
Fife
anyway.
was surfing down in Margaret River.
Oh, very naughty.
Yeah,
But
so
I mean, for the most part,
have-
everyone's been good. So
In WA, we have heaps of tourism down south. We have a lot of wineries and surf spots, and it's very sort of laid back, but there's also sort of mini cities as well. And they're like, that's where everyone goes during Easter break, is they go down south because the weather's beautiful and the scenery's nice, but it's going to be, you shouldn't be doing it.
stay the fuck.
Oh.
I mean, we don't
stay
need to tell
home.
our audience this because, I mean, let's be
Yeah.
honest, we're all fucking
games.
gamers and we sit inside anyway. So, but I mean, if you were looking for some kind of, I don't know, surfing podcast and you've managed to find your way here, stay the fuck at home. Just don't do it. Good. All right, let's play the fucking intro music and then we're going to come back. We're going to briefly talk about some SteelSeries stuff and then we're going to talk about Jake and what Jake does. And then we're going to talk about Destiny. So that's,
Hold on. Can we just ask Jake what his week was like?
we did. Oh, didn't we?
But we just got quarantined, sort of.
Yeah.
What
we
else?
did.
What,
Hmm.
have you done much this week, Jake?
Actually, well, wait, are we talking?
Anything?
any-
Work,
anything?
Destiny, art, anything?
Yeah,
Anything
it's just
of
been.
note?
I'm always in a constant state of like wanting to play Destiny, but I've had a lot of work this week, and yeah, it's weird. Like even though we are all inside and everything, I somehow have even less time to game than I ever have before. So, like,
Yeah.
yeah, it's really weird. I don't know. Although I do keep giving myself little tasks that I wouldn't ordinarily have given myself. Like I think I did like 15 commissions for people of like
Cool.
their
That's all right.
Destiny characters this last 2 weeks and stuff. And I've been getting on Twitch a lot more and thinking like, well, since I'm home, I might as well, try Twitch out and
Yeah,
use
nice.
use it. And so that all equals, I've just been keeping myself busy.
Yeah. I feel like you feel more busy at home because you don't have that. For me, it was like driving to work or driving home from work was like your
Yeah.
like reset time. And now it's like,
Oh.
okay, finish work. And you literally just close
Yeah.
Word,
Thank you.
go to Steam, double
Yeah.
click Steam.
It's true. It's true.
No, like
Yeah.
Oh, that was
I mean,
me early last week. My lunch break.
Yeah.
No, I'm just playing fucking get a couple of comp games in.
Dude, I fucking saw you come up and say, I'm like, he's not home today. I was like, oh yeah, he's probably fucking just doing some Destiny.
Yeah.
All right. There you go. All right, now you can go.
Yeah.
Now you can
that's
go.
pretty much my,
I'm
that's,
allowed
that's my
now.
week.
I'm allowed. Cool. Cool. Yeah, I'm good. Matt, am I right?
Yeah, you're right now.
Cool.
Yeah.
So I've been an asshole. I don't know why. I can't help myself. But what we're going to do right now, we're going to launch into our last little bit of gear that we're going to preview for Steel Series. And then next week, we're going to get into how we're going to go about giving it away. And then the week after that, we're going to give it away. All of this stuff. That's the deal. So let's play the video right now. And then we'll come back and we'll talk about it a little bit. And then we'll get on our merry way with the rest of the podcast. So rock and roll. Yes, there we go. So the important thing about this one, and me and Matt were talking about this before the podcast started, is that the Apex 3 is water resistant. Now, Matt took that as a sign that he could go and play games from the bottom of his pool. I don't even know that he has a pool, but he was like, is it waterproof or water resistant? Because I want to play in the pool. But no, it's water resistant, Matt. If you spill a beer on it, which is far more likely for you or I, well, a Captain Morgan and ginger beer for you, a beer for me.
Oh, you make me sound so weak. Yeah, like us men, we drink fucking full steins of beer.
It's still rum. I can't drink rum. You saw what happened to me at bloody PAX. I had one of your rums and turned into a friggin' maniac. So, there's a very good reason I drink beer, and that's that. It wasn't intended as a slight, but a cool bit of kit. I mean, that's their middle of the road range. Sorry, and water resistant. I don't know that I've seen that on many keyboards, and it's kind of, given it's one of those things that, you know, it's in the area. I've got a drink within a foot of my keyboard here right now. Kind of important. And I have at one point spilt scotch into a PC. So it's one of those things I am particularly mindful of at this point in my life.
I spilled coffee onto my Corsair keyboard, and it obviously got into the circuit. And so it was acting like I was pushing down a button. I think it was the negative button, and it was the minus on the keypad. And so I don't know what I was doing. It was like, and it was just like I was probably doing a fucking Word document stream, and it was just flying along on the stream. I had to unplug my keyboard, take the key out, and then like drip all the coffee out of it.
Yeah.
It was not good.
It's a low moment. We've all been there, I think.
Anyway.
So, yeah.
Yeah, that's definitely happened. Yeah.
If you're watching this podcast like after the fact or listening to it, please tweet us and tell us how you killed a piece of your equipment with a drink. We need to know what drink it was. We need to know what bit of kit it was. And then we'll inform you that you should go and buy yourself the Apex 3 Steel Series keyboard, and you'll be fine. So
in all seriousness, the keyboards are great, though.
The keyboards are great.
Keyboards awesome.
Keyboards
and
are
I really
incredible.
like. I know this is a small thing, but they've got the like magnetic wrist pad, and it just sort of slaps on, and it feels good, man. It feels good, especially if you're. Do you have to move your keyboard around a lot, like with the dual stream?
Yeah, man, it's doing my head in. I've got to work something out. I've got to get a switch because I'm literally running two mice, two keyboards.
Dude, I fucking hate
the keyboard,
that.
like that keyboard, and I've got the fucking. It's getting stupid in here. It looks like a fucking some kind of bunker for controlling a war, at the moment, or like a rocket launch or something. But yeah.
It's really good if you need, like, this week I've been, I lost all of my, like, because I can't go to the university, I can't get all the really expensive programs to do my data analysis.
Oh.
So I'm like, fuck, that the uni won't give you the license for them. So all the things I need to do data analysis for, I'm like, shit, how do I do this? And they're like $100 a month to get these programs. So, but because of coronavirus, a lot of the companies give you like extra time on the free trial. But I already burnt my free trial on my PC, so now I've got like a fucking laptop sitting off to the side that's running a HDMI cable to my main screen with my old Corsair keyboard running up here. So the point is, when I need heaps of room on my desk, I can actually move my keyboard out the way and detach the
there you go.
thingy,
So it's livable as well. It's
space.
livable. It's good. That's what you need. Just a shout out to the real Treaton. He says he regularly spills hot chocky onto his crap. So there you go, mate. You're in chat. We normally don't jump into chat this early in the show, but spilling hot chocolate, pretty sticky, pretty gross.
Man.
Yeah, that would be a nightmare.
I'm sorry for your loss.
Holy crap.
All right. Well, let's jump into talking about something that I've, as we said straight off the top, we've been meaning to get Jake on for like a year now. It's just one of those things where I'm not sure, was that before we went live? We are hopeless. We are hopeless at organizing things, but this has just kind of all fallen in our lap. It's been great. We reached out and it all worked for everyone pretty much straight off the bat. So here we are. Now we get to have an awesome conversation. So, Jake, do you want to, like, in your own words, just introduce yourself to people who, if by some chance, some miracle, haven't bumped into you and what you do in the Destiny community yet?
Well, actually, like, I was thinking about this earlier. Like, I'm not really sure why I'm on this podcast because, like, I'm pretty much known for doing a webcomic for Destiny, like a fan art or fan, like a fan webcomic for Destiny called Watermelon Exo.
Yep.
Yeah. And a lot of people know about it. And it was featured back when they did like with community spotlights over on Bungie.net. And so I was like one of the first people who was actually featured in that. Like, it must have been like around November, like after.
When did you start Watermelon Exo? How long has it been running for?
Since probably since like October of Destiny 1. Like,
yeah, so the month after
crazy.
Destiny 1 came
So
out.
it's a while. I mean, there's like 82 pages or something of it right now. It's
Where did that come from? Where did the idea to start this Watermelon Exo character?
Yeah. it was just I was drawing fan art of my own character. I was I don't even know why now, but I think it was just.
So your Destiny 1 character had the green shader on.
Yep.
Green ink, basically. Yeah.
Yeah, and I picked those at random, and then like just drawing. I was drawing my character, drawing them like maybe doing different things, and someone was like, "Oh yeah, your character looks like a watermelon," and so that was because he had like his green head and he has like pink mouth. Back when your character talked and like the little exo mouth would like light up and stuff. Dude, it doesn't happen very often anymore, but yeah.
Dude, that's so cool.
Thank you.
So I also remember your the dog commissions you were doing, right? When you painting people.
Yeah.
That was so cool. Tell us about
thanks,
that.
man. Yeah. Well, I basically like there kept being like these natural disasters basically kept happening here. There was like a flood in Texas, and there was like the California wildfires that happened I think last year, and they were just like, I mean, they're sad for the people involved and the deaths and stuff that happened, but I kind of felt really bad for like all the animals that are like caught up in the situation, can't do anything. It's not their fault that their owners abandoned them or something in the flood or something. So I wanted to help, and basically I did a marathon stream, and like I was doing commissions of people's animals, and I thought I would like, make it fun for Destiny community, and I'd draw your dog or cat or ferret or anything like with the full Destiny gear as much as I could like fit it
not
on
really
the dog.
designed to be on a
Yeah.
dog, but fair enough.
Don't tell Gamma Trap. I think it's one of the best ideas artwork wise that has come from the Destiny community. They're just like, if you haven't seen them, I don't know if people can. They'll probably have to go through your Twitter feed maybe to find them, or are they somewhere else where people can see them?
Yeah,
Probably not.
it was like on my Twitter feed, and then it was on like Bungie like reblogged it, of course, and but that was like 2 years ago, so it might be hard to find.
Yeah, it's probably pretty hard.
Good
I
luck.
still remember. I mean, it's actually one of the reasons when I did my proposal to Dan, and we put Billy in Guardian outfits because I remember how cool your artwork looked, and I was like, man, it's such a cool thing. Such a cool idea.
Hey, thank you, man.
Yeah,
thanks. Yeah, and I was able to like raise something like $4,000 or something for charity for like
that's huge
animal rescue. So it's something I want to try to do every year now. Like,
yeah.
I mean,
well, there you go. When are you going to do it?
Yeah.
I mean, there's kind of a crisis going on right now. Like,
I know.
But all the pets are happy. All the pets, you need to make the pets like uber happy because their parents are home all the time.
Yeah.
True.
This is actually like heaven for.
Yeah. Yeah, maybe. I didn't think about it that way.
I think I need like a year to recover though every time, because like I'm basically just drawing pets for like 3 months straight. Like just
need to get that out of your system. Be passionate about it again. Yeah, no, fair enough.
Because you also work a day job, right?
Yep. Yeah. I work in casual games. And I've been doing like background design for a long time, about 10 years or something.
Awesome.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
So what does that involve?
It's actually it's kind of like I've worked for like a startup, but it's been like a startup game company that's like perpetually in startup mode, where like they still call themselves startup. And so basically like I do a lot of things. Like I concept backgrounds, and sometimes I'm doing like the code for, like code to delineate like a room that you might walk into. Like
so what would be an example? Would there be like, hey, we got this game and we need a room, and the game's about this, and we need a room design that's scary or something? Like how much of a brief do you get? Like what would be do you have an example?
Yeah, like, well, it really depends. Like sometimes people just come up to me, are coming to me and they're like, oh, we need like this week someone needed a particle effect for when like a bunch of horses were running. So they need like the smoke or the dust clouds and stuff. And so I had to make a particle effect. It's not really something I went to school for, but I have to like, figure out how to make a particle and everything.
Dude, I just love talking to like people who work in a creative industry and think that's fucking so cool compared to like what I do.
Yeah, I make sure mines don't fall down on people's heads.
Yeah. Like I want to make a particle effect for a fucking unicorn. It'd be really shit, but
a lot of times because I'm also like I'm kind of scheduling other people's tasks too. So a lot of my work is also like look at a spreadsheet and look at the schedule. And
don't tell me the creative industry is the same as every other industry. You got to project management.
Yeah, and a lot of Google Docs. Damn it. A lot of Google Docs. But but yeah, like a lot of times too, I can come up with an idea and be like I really want to make. Let me think. I really want to make like a pachinko machine or something for this, like a pachinko mini game or something, and then I can, write a proposal for it and sketch out like concepts, and then hopefully like that goes through, and then suddenly I'm like making the backgrounds and getting animation department to help, and getting some devs that have some time to like work on pachinko ball physics or something. So
dude, that's so cool.
It can be really varied. Yeah,
that's super cool. So like you really becoming sort of through exposure to all this stuff a bit of a jack of all trades in that respect.
Yeah, because I started off just like you were just doing background concepts, and I did that for a bunch of years, and slowly as we went along, a game company will like get bigger and bigger, and there needs more roles to fill. Maybe some people leave and you have to take over their role. Different things.
So because I obviously have zero experience in game development or art of any description, and I always thought to myself, concept I always thought like concept artists have the best job, but I didn't really know what that would involve. So when you say concept, are you like, I guess, presenting a whole bunch of different creative thought on what this room could look like, what this background could be? But, you know, obviously not all of it would go through, but you're like, okay, why don't we make it like this? Or why don't we do like this? Here's like some sketches of it. Is that like what happens?
Yeah, that's pretty much it. Yeah, that's exactly like you kind of like, you lay out for people who maybe can't, well, you have to get everyone on the same page basically of like, what does a place look like? And what is the feeling? And sometimes you're kind of doing a little bit of game design, like, because you have to
think about how the game would work in that environment. It's
like if you're tasked with, you know, making the room for like a raid boss, you know, in Destiny.
You can't fucking make just a square.
Like, you have to think about
me and log. Fucking what about a square?
Bad guy.
You got to think of a lot of things. Part of it is just like trying to figure out what the feeling of a place is, but then that's the fun part, like trying to feel what's the ambiance of, you know, like the vault of glass or something. That would be incredible.
Here's a question. This is going to make or break our relationship. How much lore do you consider when you created you create an environment?
Well, unfortunately for our games, there's usually lore involved. There's nothing. So it's just whatever lore
you can do what you want with free reign.
Yeah.
Dude, I could talk about this shit forever, but
no, is there anything? And like this is the one thing that whenever you get like the extended release of a movie, or you know, there's been things come out with Destiny where you see concept art that you're like, what the fuck is that?
And
frogs, it's not like
the giant toads.
And it's not like anything that's in the game. Is there anything that you designed and loved but didn't end up anywhere? Like it didn't end up somewhere yet?
Yeah. Good question. Is there any crazy thing you did?
I did have a really cool, like, well, I don't know if it's really cool. It could be really stupid, but I did have a really, to me, a cool idea for like a VR game, basically.
Tell us.
Oh, I can't. Do I want to say?
No, it could be.
Oh, maybe not. No, keep it. It might be $1 million idea. Keep it.
Someone could lift it. Yeah, no.
I actually want to make it. But,
okay, well, you heard it here first. Like in a few years, just chill.
Yeah. But I have but the VR game would be basically called Kill Everything, and
good start.
The idea would be kill everything, like even if it's like a some paper or like a paper clip or like a refrigerator or a car, and your job is to like kill everything as things are coming toward you. I don't know. Yeah, that wasn't a good example because I can't really say.
No, that's fine. It's
you're holding the hook. You're holding the hook. That's fine.
We're asking you an incredibly specific question that you cannot give a specific answer to. It's pretty it's pretty rough. Sorry, man.
So, is concept, because I always, when I think of concept design for someone who's never done it, I'm like, that's got to be the best job. You get to be the most creative with the least amount of risk, because like that's sort of your job, right? Is to be like, hey, what about this? What, like, you're meant to challenge the team. Would that be accurate, or is it actually quite hard because everyone's poo-pooing your ideas all the time?
I think you're right for the most part, but like there is the other side of the coin where it's like always 100% of the time, the idea that you like the most is going to be the one that no one likes. The idea that you like, you know, you crapped out the last second just so you could have like 6 ideas on the table. That's the one that everyone's like, I love this. So it's usually good
like, motherfucker, I spent 2 seconds on that.
So it's great that you always get to be creative, but you're always in kind of an existential crisis as well of why do I bother?
And I think all concept artists will tell you that's what always happens. It's weird.
Man,
it's a curse.
That's so cool, dude.
But it is.
I'm glad we had you on to talk about this.
Yeah, it only took.
Otherwise, we never would have. You never would have known this kind of stuff. That's awesome. And this all started when I saw you. Well, this obviously started before then, but I saw you at Guardian Con at the bar.
Yeah.
Like, can I buy you a drink? I'm like, sure.
Yeah, Matty won't knock one back. He's I'll buy you a drink. Yeah.
I was a little worried. Like, I wanted to know, like, okay, how many drinks have you consumed so far today?
I had a lot of people offering to buy me. Dude, Log, you'll love it, mate.
Yeah,
You'll be fucking pissed the whole time.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, obviously, where's GCX at for this year? Like, it's
2021.
but next year, hopefully all this shit's settled down by then and we can fucking all get together.
You got
as
more
a community.
time to save up.
Yeah. I mean, selfishly, I can look at it that way, but pretty bad. But look, what we might do now, we might jump into talking about a little bit of Destiny. It's been a weird week. Been a really weird week in terms of the community and where everyone's at, and sort of we're hitting this sort of kind of peak of everyone being a little bit dissatisfied with where things are at and falling out of love a little bit. But the few things that were announced this week were Grandmaster Nightfalls. So we can jump through and talk about them. But I think it's important to preface like all of this with saying that like what we're about and what we've always been about as a podcast is having a laugh and being able to talk to people that we otherwise wouldn't. Jake being a perfect example of this. So for over the coming weeks, that's probably going to be our focus in that, you know, there might be weeks where we don't even talk about what's going on in Destiny in that sense, where we're going to focus on the people who play Destiny because for me, that's as much a reason as why I love it as the game itself. So we'll jump in, we'll go through this, but if we get to a point in future weeks where there's really nothing going on and nothing positive to talk about, we just won't. We'll talk about other shit. So cop that.
Oh, guys, have you heard this game Mountain Blade 2?
No, we're not doing that. We can talk about that after the fucking... Let's get the Destiny stuff out of the way because it's in the name of the fucking podcast, all right? Mountain Blade Down Under is coming fucking next week. You wait. It's not mountain. It's Mount and Blade.
Yeah, I know, but it sounds like mountain.
I mean, Mountain Blade sounds like it'd be more epic. Standing on a mountain with a blade. That's every power metal album ever released. All right. So Iron Banner's coming back next week. That's a thing. It doesn't feel like it's been gone for very long, to be honest.
No.
I think it was like last week.
Yeah, I feel like it might have been last week, if not the week before. I don't know. Time is a funny thing in a pandemic, but
that is true.
So the Grandmaster Nightfalls, basically the I'll read through it. So in a few weeks we'll debut Bungie. This is from Bungie, not from us. We're not debuting anything. In a few weeks we'll debut a new difficulty selection in the ordeal called Grandmaster. It'll test a fire team's coordination, communication, builds, and skill like no other activity in Destiny to date. That sounds pretty promising. I'm not gonna lie. I am kind of piqued by that, but. It says, here's a look into a few of the goals we had approaching Grandmaster after we saw how the rest of the ordeal was received. Grandmaster should be built on Master difficulty, but be significantly more challenging. Once you reach a certain bar, the challenge should be found completely in perfecting your build's communication and execution. The primary rewards should be doled out on initial completion, so you're going to get a drop. Completion should be the primary metric for success rather than score or time or another inactivity metric like killing all the champions. Grandmaster should stress the top end of build crafting, and Grandmaster should be watchable. So I imagine, you know, that's basically them saying that they want it to be something that people are willing to sit and view on Twitch because they're going to be incredibly difficult strikes that the only real thing you need to do is survive and defeat the boss at the end. So for mine, like I am interested in watching this sort of stuff, but for me, it's not going to draw me back into Destiny, is it?
Oh, see, part of me is like, look, one of the reasons I haven't been playing is because I didn't have anything to work towards. There was no raid.
Okay. Yeah.
And I was like, well, what am I getting power level for? And the only thing for me was, the only reason I really was playing was to try to get better at PvP. And we all know how that went. And trying to go flawless.
I don't think you've quite reached the end of that journey, and I don't mean that in a patronizing way. I mean that in like a you were just starting to get to the point where you were kicking in, and then you found fucking Mountain Blade and fucked it.
Yeah, that's pretty much. I like that there is an activity that actually requires you, the last dot point, to stress the top end of build crafting, because I don't really think you never had to have the perfect build to complete a raid. You never.
No, you could kind of brute force it, provided you had a decent enough mix among the players that were in there. Like your Warlock Wells or whatever. You were kind of
yeah. So raids are mainly dependent on the class and your primary and secondary, really. Or actually, no, probably just all your weapons. Your heavies and stuff. Like, as long as you had the weapons and you had the class, I never felt like you couldn't not get through a raid because you didn't have fucking the Seven Seraphs Season of the Worthy mod on that dropped a Rasputin ball that when you ran over it gave everyone a health back. Like,
it never really got into the minutiae of the build, right? Like, I've managed to run every raid ever with Junies before they were good. Like, all it ever did was help me kill some ads. So I'm
interested to see this. I think my issue with Destiny is when they bump up the challenging activities, it's usually like find the corner with the least incoming fire and slowly work your way across the map. And that's what I think gets me is like, and I think they want it to be watchable. So I'm interested, like most of the time when those things, you can't even, you look outside, you just go, I'm dead. And then you got to, be revived and,
so how do you do that without just chipping away at things like you're fighting Valis to Auric way under-leveled in Destiny 1, hiding under the stairs behind the boxes? Everyone did it.
Yeah.
I totally forgot about that.
Yeah. That was literally, I haven't thought about that in fucking 4 years. And it was the first thing that jumped into my head when Matt said what he did. So there you go. The old memory's still functioning.
Maybe that's what we need. Maybe that was a hidden part of Destiny everyone's missing.
Yeah,
Probably
I mean,
not.
I'm going to go ahead and just make the judgment call of no. But maybe. I mean, I've been wrong in the past, so who the fuck knows? So basically, to participate in these activities, you need to be at power level 1025, which is 15 power above the pinnacle cap. But it will be 25 below the activity power, which will be 1050. So at that point, it's capped. So you were locked at 1025, and you were running 25 levels below the activity. So just on the disparity of level, it's going to be rough.
Yeah.
I'm actually interested to give this a shot. I'm interested to give this a shot because my brother, I've spoken about him a couple of times now, and I fucking hate him when he does video games because he plays way better than me, and this is my fucking childhood all over again. Every time I speak to him, I'm like, I'll be grinding 8 hours on stream when fucking Season of Worthy came out and be like level 950, whatever it was. And he'd be like, oh yeah, I'm level 4,000. They're like, what? How? It's like, oh, I found this fucking thing. And he doesn't even watch YouTube videos. He just works it out. Anyway, he was like, dude, I think everyone's sleeping on these. This was before we spoke last week, like the Seraph like perks. He's like, you should see how fucking powerful these, like when you stack these together. Like he was doing this. You can get one that does, if you have solar splash damage, not even a kill. Solar splash damage spawns the Seraph cell, and then when you shoot the Seraph cell, it blinds everything in like a 20-meter radius. So he runs around with Sunshot, which gives you the splash damage without even having to do anything.
Whoa.
Or is it only on a kill? You have to kill an ad, I guess, and you have to kill one ad, and that will have splash damage, and then the orb comes out, then you shoot that, and then everyone, even like not bosses, but like yellow tiered enemies, they would just all be like walking around blind for ages. That's really cool.
Look, I mean, for me, I'm not a builds guy, but I know who this appeals to, and I'd like Sench is 100% this dude. That it'll come down to crafting a build to tackle a specific task, and he has always nagged me about like, I want to do this, I want to do that. You can do this, you could do that. Have you tried this? Have you tried that? And I'm like, no, I'll just brute force everything because I'm a dumbass. But for him, this could be like, he hasn't picked up Destiny for a bit, but I reckon he'll. This could be the thing that brings you back, which is ironic given that everyone else feels like fucking leaving. So there's that. I think.
You reckon you'll get into it, Laze? Do you think you'll do it, or is that not your kind of thing?
It's usually not my kind of thing, but I am really hopeful about the Grandmaster thing because like it does seem like last season there was the whole taking charge mechanics and everything that I think almost zero people really were even paying attention to. So like maybe something like this will let make there be a reason that people need to pay attention to these kind of interesting mechanics that Bungie is like coming up with.
They are really interesting, and they need to give you an activity to use them. And I think I'm hoping this will be.
There was no activity really last season, I think.
I mean, I'll be honest. I think I went through last season and managed to ignore that for almost completely. I found no reason to actually seek that out and figure out how it worked and master it. It went straight under the radar.
I did find one secret reason to use the taking charge mechanic, and that's that in PvP, if you get one taking charge ball of light or whatever, if you get one charge, your next Le Monarch, if you use a Le Monarch, the next shot that you take will be a one-hit kill.
Oof.
And I thought that was interesting, but no one else was really thinking about that.
So, well, there you go. I mean, maybe this is the time for
people
it to
come up
shine.
with some crazy shit. Yeah.
Well, I mean, I think the other criticism of this is that it doesn't seem that it's going to have the rewards that everyone was hoping that it would. That it would be, a pinnacle activity in that respect, where it's got its own loot pool. It doesn't seem to be the way it'll be. So,
why wouldn't they put like? I hope they need to secretly put in a Grandmaster weapon in there or some shit. Like,
if they did that would be incredible.
Like the dungeon equivalent, the Whispers, the whatever, what was Zero Arrows one, the Seagull one. Like, there needs to be something attached to it, and I'm hoping there is something sneaky attached to it.
I feel like that's the challenge of Destiny at the moment, right? Like that is what's. I mean, there's not the content there, but there's also not the loot there. Like this time around we didn't have ritual weapons, so there's no real reason to go and be playing, competitive or like survival or Gambit or any of those strikes even for any of that sort of stuff. So it's kind of like the incentive to do the real grindy stuff that you just kind of do without thinking to get on and have a chat with your mates is no longer really there. And that feeds into people like, there's less people around and there's less people to do things with. And it gets itself into this sort of like cycle of diminishing return of it feels like everyone's stepping away from the game because really there's no sort of chase there at the moment. There's trials. It comes around for half a week if you're into it, which it's not particularly friendly. It's not geared towards the casual player in any way, and there's not really anything else there for them except kind of going around doing this Seraph stuff. And I don't know. I mean, Grandmaster Nightfalls, maybe they're a great revitalization of that playlist, and they'll bring in people from all walks. But for me, it sounds like they're also a pinnacle like skill activity as well. So.
Yeah,
it does open a can of worms in that, like, I'm hoping that we start seeing people like Fallout and whatnot putting out specific videos like through a week saying, well, this is a build that might help you do this, or this is the challenge this week. This will help you on your way. And I'm sure that'll happen. So it does open up another avenue for sort of the community to have something to be talking about rather than where the focus is right now, which is a lot of negative shit about trials. But I don't know. I mean, I'm still concerned that there's not going to be a lot of real reason to jump back in. I mean, the title for it's cool, but that's really about it.
Yeah.
I you know what? I'm gonna grind to that level. I think I'm not too far off 1025, and I haven't played the last week, so
yep.
I'll get some Iron Banner in and
Yeah, I mean,
just keep getting my power level up, get my artifact level up.
Yeah, I'll do the same. I mean, I'm still playing Destiny, but I've been playing COD and other stuff as well. So look, Destiny where it is right now, and look, we'll talk about probably the big news of the last 24 hours was, I mean, glad God love him, sort of putting a tweet out saying that he'll play Destiny at reset, but he'll be exploring other games in the most sincere apologetic way that I never saw coming or necessary. But he, there's a lot going on in the community in that respect, and I think Destiny has historically always had these periods where like effectively we're in a content drought, and we might be in an active season. But this is like the lull after the Taken King's been around for forever.
It hurts me when I see, like, obviously I go through it not only playing a game, but also like very specifically like lore that, and I don't blame people for it whatsoever. But you jump on, and ironically for me, people would probably rather me read lore than actually play the game because that's why they're following me. That's always tough.
Yeah.
And then then I started playing the game. I'm like, man, this streaming thing's easy when you just get to play. But you switch games, and it's always some people won't watch, and that's completely fine because they're into Destiny. They only want to watch Destiny. But there's also a portion of people that just like attack. And I don't know. I didn't see what happened with Glad, but I imagine, I don't know where he was in the rankings anymore with number one, whatever Twitch streamer, but there was a lot of people that subscribed to him, and I just wonder whether he got.
Look, I don't think that it was
for that. I don't know.
I don't think that it was born of him actually catching shit for it, because I did have a quick scroll.
It would have
through.
been
I think honestly for him, he's been the front runner of our community for a long time now, right? Like, he's one of our most skilled players, one of the biggest, if not the biggest on Twitch, like just solely Destiny players. So for him to say, "Oh, I'm stepping away a little bit," I think he just felt the responsibility to sort of quantify it, get it out there. This is why I'm doing it. I still believe in the franchise, and say all those things so that it gives him, the ability to go away and freshen up. Which, fuck, man, everyone needs that from time to time. Like, and now's the time to do it if you do need that. So I'm sure there'll be fucking idiots out there that'll carry on and I'm only here for Destiny. His subs might drop, but if he's doing the right thing by himself, then that's all he can do. And I think that's his.
You said you've been streaming, right, Laze? Oh, you muted?
I'm sorry. But yeah, I've been doing a lot. I've been trying to stream more, but it's
streaming artwork or Destiny?
It's streaming artwork, basically.
Yeah, cool.
So that's a lot more casual. Just put on the tunes and just draw for people.
That's really cool.
It's not the high pressure environment that you've been playing in.
No, I actually think, honestly, I think like you do art for your living too, and it's a little bit like the lore stuff I do. I think for me, if I do like a lore stream, it feels like work. Not that I don't enjoy it, but it does feel like work. Like sometimes I don't feel like reading, and I don't feel like the full on mental capacity to like discuss theories and to search stuff and to basically be a historian, like recounting 5 years of like Destiny lore. Of like, and it sort of sucks because I know people are really excited, and what happens is people get like, they read something, they're like, oh, in D1 there was a Grimoire card and it said like on paragraph 4, line 2 that Siva might return. I'll be like, no, I don't remember that. I don't remember that. But so have you only ever done art streams, Laze? Have you done gaming on stream?
Yeah, I think I've tried to do a few like PvP streams, and because PvP is like what I like to do in Destiny the most, probably.
All right.
But every time I do it, I just play like crap. I can't like, I don't know if it's the pressure from like, being on camera or something, or, in the moment, I'm like, oh no, this is not working out. So I just haven't really pushed the envelope on that.
It's harder, right? It is harder on stream. I think people like always give you, playing video games so hard. Like
it's intense. I don't know. It's like trying to do it.
It's different. It's different.
Yeah. It's weird.
Last week, I don't know, you probably didn't catch it, but Log catch the end of it. Me losing my shit at Sassy because he fucking shot me in Tarkov and I lost the gear. And then, you know what? You know what happened? Sorry, fucking sidetrack. He shot me. Next raid, next time we played the next day, he was using my fucking gear. He had my fucking sniper rifle. He shot me. Oh
my god!
Son of a bitch!
We haven't dropped that word in a long time.
That's fine.
Oh, but the reason why I bring it up, this is why it happened, because he was streaming and he doesn't normally stream when he plays Tarkov, and Tarkov's quite a focus intensive game. So he was playing different because he wanted the stream to be entertaining, and we had Ascension and me in chat, so he was listening to our comms and he was trying to read his chat and he was trying to respond. And so I gave him instructions to where I was like 3 times and he didn't hear it and didn't acknowledge it and then shot me in the face.
Yeah.
I mean, you can get caught out.
That's
definitely. I mean, it's like, I mean, even when I stream trials, I feel like I'm forever apologizing for ignoring chat. Because I'm like, for the whole course of a fucking trials game, I'm like trying to concentrate so I don't let everyone down, like as always. But and then at the end, I'm like, oh, sorry, man, I didn't see you come in or whatever. And you know, like you feel a bit rude in that respect. But I guess that's the activity and that's what it's about. But I don't know.
But if you do it more, Laze, you get used to it though.
Yeah. Some people are able to find a balance or something where they like, you know, can hide for a second, like look up a chat. But yeah, I'm the same as Log. Like, I'll just get into it, and then I'm like, oh, and half an hour has gone by, and this chat's been going the whole time, and I haven't been paying attention. It doesn't work.
Yeah,
I'd really love to. It seems fun.
Yeah, I think it like it adds. I mean, from my like, I hardly play games now unless I'm streaming, which is one of those things that they tell you not to do. Or you should always have a game that you play that isn't on stream. But for me, it's part of it, and I like that. Like even when Destiny is in a lull, provided I can find some goal to go and get, and there's people to talk to, I'm relatively happy. You know, there's an interaction there, especially now given everything that's going on in the world. But at the same time, like with everything that is going on now, I mean, Destiny's in a rough spot. Everyone's inside. Fucking, we're in pretty atypical times. So you know, you do what makes you happy. And if you're out there and you're listening to this fucking podcast for whatever reason, and you're umming and ahhing about whether or not people will support you if you choose not to fucking play Destiny or whatever, just do what you want. Because ultimately, the people who really matter are the ones who will support you irrespective. So do that. There you go.
Yep.
It's a very nice message.
What we might do now is open the chat up. So if you've got any questions, or particularly for Jake, but you know, if anything dumb shit for me and Matt that we can try and answer.
Please make the most of Jake, because I always get to the end, I'm like, fuck me, I'm not going to talk too much. We're so used to just jumping in and interrupting each other.
Yeah, talking over the top
make
of
sure
people.
we ask Jake questions.
So if you've got anything that you'd like to ask Jake, please fire away. But anything Destiny or gaming in general, or anything. I mean, not medical advice. That's just been kind of a weird trend that's been popping up over the last few weeks of people asking us stuff that we really have no fucking capacity to answer. I mean, we'll give you a guess, and we'll wish you all the best. But if you're leaving your healthcare up to me and Matt, you're probably going to die. So there's that.
Oh, speak for yourself, mate. At least I have a fucking background in health.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
are you a doctor
true.
now? You're pretty soon you'll be a doctor.
Oh,
not that kind of doctor.
I've got a academic doctor in healthcare, so I guess you know there's a little bit, but definitely not a medical doctor. I've got about 6 months. No, technically, here let me tell you a PhD story, right? Because we're the back end of the podcast. Technically, I meant to finish on 4th of July. It's how I always remember it. 4th of July is my cutoff date. I'm like, I'm not going to make that. I am not going to make that whatsoever. So I had to bring up the office, and they'll give me an extension. Like you get a freebie. You get a free 6 months to finish, like without having to apply or anything like that. You just get a 6 month extension. I won't get paid for 6 months, but that's my plan is to be finished by January next year. But I'll have most of my work done by the middle of this year. So the back end of this year will likely be a lot more streams, a lot more YouTubing and just tidying up my PhD is the plan. And because I don't think I'll get a job at Curtin at the uni I go to until coronavirus is over. So
yeah, dude, it's hard. I mean, like when you think about the ongoing consequences like that are going to linger for 6 months, a year at least.
Yeah,
dude.
Well, I mean, yeah. So like 4 years of study basically, and I didn't 100% have a job lined up, but basically my PhD's been organizing, developing, and validating computer coding clubs for kids with autism, and I've developed all the manuals for them, all the training for mentors, how to run them, what programs to use, and they've been like hugely successful. We have like 200 kids with autism across 3 different clubs that every Saturday come down to code, and it's free. It's fucking free.
Amazing. That is
as
amazing,
well.
Dude.
And it was so successful. Our biggest autism provider in like fee for service was like, oh, can we come down and check your club out? Fucking sent their little spies down to our club. Next fucking week on Facebook advertising coding clubs for kids with autism. They just fucking stole it.
Serious?
Yeah. And they are a fucking big company too. Like they just make money because of the way our disability payments work. You know, they basically charge government to provide a service. Hope they fucking no. See, part of me is like, I hope you fucking fail. But the only person that gets hurt is the kids, right? So we just keep doing.
I mean, that doesn't stop us going and finding these people and fucking like waterboarding them, Matt. We could do that. I mean,
but
it may well be a war crime, but hey.
Here's the thing. I don't know if I should give this secret right. Oh, they won't be listening. Right. They missed the fucking point, right? So when we run the clubs, it's not like a social skills club because kids with autism get smashed with that all the time. Like, fucking come talk to each other, come work out how to be better social. No, it's a nerd club. This club is for fucking nerds to hang out with other nerds, talk YouTube, talk gaming, learn a bit of coding, learn some skills, hang out. Right? All their advertisement was like coding club for social skills. That's fucking boring, cunts. Don't fucking do that. Like kids are smart. Kids know when you're trying to give them therapy. You can't put it in the title. You've got to make it fun.
That's the first sign.
Yeah. They fucking know.
You got to get under the guard.
Oh, we got a question for Jake.
Oh,
yep.
yeah.
Thanks for
go on.
Thanks, Fesh. I was just going to say, Fesh put that in a little while ago, so we'll get to it now. Sorry.
What's your favorite shader in? Oh, I think I know where this is going. What's your favorite shader, Jake, in D2? Oh, other than the obvious answer, watermelon.
Yeah, watermelon shader. But there's actually one shader that just came out, and I had to look it up. It's called Vibrant.
Oh, is it the green one?
Yeah. It's like bright green. And
yeah, I saw Glad tweet that too, actually.
Yeah. Vibrant Medusa. And there's also like there's a crazy like one called Neopop Wave.
Oh, the synthwave one.
Bright pink, and it has like weird green, like it looks like a Dixie cup like design. Yeah, it's pretty good.
Oh, is there a Neopop Wave?
Yeah, it's huge. Nice. It'll go with your generic synthwave playlist that you've been rocking for 2 years, man.
People have different goals,
I fucking like that shit. Okay,
I know, you're allowed to like it. I like it too. It's good. It's good. There was another question. Pizza Trains wants to know, what's the best way to hire you for a commission, Jake?
Oh, it's a good question. Yeah.
Oh, easy. Just hit me up on Twitter.
Which is?
Slide into my DMs. My Twitter is the same as my username on Destiny. It's Laze Summerstone. It's like Laze.
Laze Summerstone.
Yeah. Go to the DDU one because he's tagged in the tweet for this episode.
Well, look at it. Yeah. So what? Follow what? Do they have to follow you to DM you, or just slide into those DMs? They open.
Yeah, I think you don't have to follow me, but I don't know about.
I mean, you want to because you post wicked stuff. Like, I mean, you should always follow the artists of the Destiny community.
Also, sometimes I like announce things that you might be interested in.
Yeah.
Give me a follow.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So here's one from Fesh.
Do you have commissions? I mean, you sound pretty busy at the moment. Do you have commission space open, or are you?
Yeah, actually, like I did those 15 last week, and so I'm
Fuck,
pretty much open.
that's a
I'm
lot.
open right now. Well, I made the stipulation where it could only be like your character's head, and maybe
Right.
head and shoulders or something.
Right.
As soon as you involve like the body, then someone's like, I want him jumping off like Oryx's face, and then I want him to do like with. I want like 3 different characters, all my characters. Yeah, it gets complicated. So like if I keep it simple, I can bust them out pretty quick.
Yeah, I don't even bother anymore with Gamma Trap. I just let him do whatever he fucking wants. So I just
that's the way to go though. Like secretly,
Yeah.
that's what every artist wants to hear.
yeah, I just my opening intro quote. I'll be like, hey Gamma, next video, I'll give him a general. Next video is about Callus fucking everyone over. In general, this is the theme of the video. Here's the intro quote, and then he'll be like, right. Dude,
Sweet.
Dude, Gamma,
go with it.
Gamma's like, I mean, it helps that Gamma is hella talented. He is like a talented dude. You lucked out. Hey,
You're very talented too, mate. Don't.
I mean, that's kind of the crazy thing about. I don't know. I mean, I'm not part of any other games communities on the level that I am on in the Destiny community at any rate. So, is this like a thing that like is the Destiny art community fucking stronger than like?
It must be surely.
Surely it'd have to be. There can't be this many because there's so many. Like every time I go on, no matter what you're doing, you scroll through your feed. You will like. I mean, I admittedly I do follow literally every artist I think that I come across. So, but I always see something I haven't seen before. It's prolific.
Yeah, I think it is. I think it is pretty strong, and it helps that like Destiny is a beautiful game and it has awesome character designs. And stuff.
Yeah,
so,
and it's a good universe. Like
Yeah,
it's a lot of potential with it, right?
Yeah, exactly. So
Big
that
time.
that kind of stuff like inspires people who do art to do art about your game. And also Bungie is like from day one they've been like draw
Supportive.
art of our game. We
Yeah.
won't sue you. It's great because they
Yeah,
know
that's
that
true
shit
as
is
well.
that's marketing.
Yeah, I mean, well, you look at your story with Watermelon Exo. That within 2 months, you're being literally they're steering people towards your content.
I got the email from Cosmo and he's like, "Oh, you want to be on the site?" And I was like, "Yes, I do."
Do you reckon anyone says no? Surely everyone's just fuck
kidding.
yeah. I mean, like, does he even have to ask? Just guess what?
You're on the site.
Yeah. I think it's so clever for Bungie because it's like, even, like Guardian Con and stuff where artists sell technically Bungie property with characters and that, but like, it's not infringing on their market share. Because if Bungie puts something up in the store that is high quality, people will buy it, right?
Yeah.
Oh, actually, they started doing what happened? Do you know much about the collaborations? What happened with that? They were doing they were featuring an artist and they were getting like a percentage share of the sales, right?
Yeah, I think they've done it once. I don't know.
I'm not one of the artists, so I don't know what happened.
but
I
it's
think it
still
was just
going?
like I think as far as I know, but maybe it takes a while to like set all that shit up. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, there's probably a few agreements and stuff hoops to jump through by the sounds of it. So maybe it's one of those things. But I would love to see it come back because the stuff that was out. I'm trying to think of who it was that was.
Was it Cobb in there or something?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure Cobb was in there.
Was it?
I don't know. I have to pull it up.
Monkus? Was it Monkus?
Yeah,
Monkus,
Monkus was in there as well.
Dude, that shit's fucking amazing. I love that as well.
I think every Bungie employee loves that guy. they always have like a poster of his like in their living room or something.
Yeah,
well, that's the cool stuff. Like they one of the coolest things that happened at Guardian Con last year was like when we spoke to Vince, who helped with the 0 Hour mission, and he's like, my boy Mithrax. We sent him like some of Gamma Trap's Mithrax, like a lot of House of Light, picture, and he's like, this is the coolest thing ever. And like it's cool like sharing stuff back to Bungie, and that's like cool when they put artwork of the community in there.
Dude, I actually like I happened to be on the plane going back to Seattle with that guy.
Vince?
And he knew who I was. Like we hadn't talked during the convention or anything, but he's like, "Are you the Watermelon Exo guy?" And I was like, "Oh yeah, I am. Who are you?" And I was like, "Oh yeah, I worked on that 0 Hour mission." I was like, oh man. And then I showed him, I had just drawn a picture of Mithrax, like just a fan art of him, like, taking a selfie. And he was like,
as you do when you've got 4 arms.
The joy on his face was so incredible.
Yeah.
So you could tell.
Did you send it to him?
Yeah, I think so. And then he, but yeah, he seemed like he's very gung ho about injecting more Mithrax, I think.
Yeah,
he's the guy for Mithrax.
Part of that story, the year before, was it 2 years before? When was the first summit? I don't fucking know. Whenever the first summit was, I basically spoke to 2 people like at the summit. No, the after party, right? It was the after party, whatever it fucking was, where they put a bar tab on. And I spoke to Christopher Barrett and I spoke to a couple others, and Vince was the other, because there wasn't a huge amount of like lore nerds. Christopher Barrett's a massive lore nerd. And then Vince was another one. He's like, dude, I love the lore. I'm trying to get more lore into the game, but I'm not in the position yet. And like, eventually got in the position, and like, that's sort of like Mithrax's creation story was like him, nagging narrative to write the story about Mithrax and get more lore about him and have a character, and to have like a dungeon set on
around
a central
on the tower.
Yeah. And then, and so, yeah, that character means a lot to those dudes. And it was fucking really cool. Really cool.
That's unreal.
I'm glad that guy's in charge, because I haven't talked to a single person who doesn't like that idea of like a little bit of Fallen making its way into being our allies. And
it does feel like they've been on the back burner for a long time, right? Like as one of Destiny's sort of enemy, potentially friendly race too, but like they're really not. Like it's been so Cabal focused or Hive or Taken, right? And they've kind of been left.
Maybe.
I'd love to see it come back, because I think that they're kind of, in a way, the most relatable of the enemies that we face. They're probably the closest to us.
Definitely.
So.
Where's Varix?
Good question. Good question. Another question from Fesh. What's your favorite medium to use to create art?
I guess that's like that's a complicated question, because like my favorite media to make art is probably just Photoshop or Procreate on my iPad, just like digital media. But then like I think my other favorite media is like watercolor. If I want to like just unplug and not touch a computer and stuff, and just do traditional media, watercolor is favorite.
That really goes with like your style, right? The watercolor stuff.
Yeah, and watercolor is just easy too. Like you don't have to deal with like fumes, like oil paints.
I was gonna say, you just see logged in watercolor and look fucking horrendous.
Yeah, that was where I was going. That's why I laughed. I'm like, easy for someone with actual talent.
It's also hard. It's also hard. Like, it is like it's messy, and like you don't always get what you think you are gonna get out of it. Like it's easy to make mistakes, and things bleed into other things. But if you just kind of like go with the flow.
I know what you're gonna say, Matt, and the answer is yes.
But if we've had the same idea, it would be, mate, I've just had an idea for a segment on this podcast.
Yes.
When we get an artist in, they set us a challenge, and we have to draw something at home.
Yeah.
And then we present it on stream.
Yep.
Was that what you're thinking?
Yeah, more or less. I was going to say that I was going to try and do a watercolor painting of the Watermelon Exo.
that would have been amazing.
Do it.
We should have thought of it. I'll do that through the week. I'll have some downtime through the week. I'll do it, and I'll post it, and it'll be shit.
Oh my god! Please
hold on.
But I'll try.
It's got to be a competition. I've got to do one too.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Well, that's it. That lines
what are the
up
rules?
With the
like? What would the rules be?
Well, I mean, it's the DDU. There really are no rules, Matt. You just
well, okay. It has to be
don't make it
freehand, right?
Don't make it take too long. Like, don't take more than like 10 minutes or something.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. Do we have to film ourselves?
Oh, see, I would have spent a couple hours on it.
Yeah, that's what I don't want.
Yeah, it's me and Matt competing. It would have been like I was prepared to write off the rest of the fucking weekend just to be better. Sorry, kids. Dad's in here fucking watercoloring. Piss off.
What are you drawing?
No, I don't. I don't have watercolors. It has to be digital. Is that what you mean?
Oh, I got whatever.
I guess anything. Yeah.
I mean, I've got watercolors. Come on, man. It's like the one time.
Windows
I don't
paint.
have children, mate. I don't have fucking children.
Just go. I mean, you can't go down the shops. That's the shit thing about it.
Oh,
Anyway,
that's
look, we'll make it freeform. You can do it on whatever medium you want. Okay, that's the challenge. Some point this week, it'll be out before next episode, and we'll quickly review it at the start of next episode. And
10 minutes.
This is gonna be great.
Yeah.
Holy crap.
I mean, if by great you mean shit, then yeah.
That is what I mean.
Yeah, beautiful.
No, you guys are gonna kill it.
Look at Matt. Matt's already he's thinking about it. I can tell. He's like, how do I? Yeah, he is. He's plotting it out in his head. He's that kind of person. I'm just gonna wing it.
The math equations are going like rotating around his head.
All right. Well, what we might do, might start wrapping up. We've got time for probably another question or two if you've got anything really burning a hole in your pocket and you're hanging out in chat. But yeah, we'll get to that. I'm thinking about fucking watercolors. Like,
yeah, we're too.
This is a good idea. We need to. I mean, maybe once a month we focus on trying to get someone from the art community on, and we'll do a shit drawing.
Yeah.
And then
and they can critique it.
Are you gonna make them like rate your drawings?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like that's a great idea, and they can, this is the less shit.
This is gonna create enemies.
No. I mean, the only enemies are me and Matt, and that's kind of like the part of the course anyway. We're great mates, but we're mates in that Australian way of like we're forever trying to fuck each other over. In that, I'm sure that's not just a uniquely Australian thing, but that's kind of the way it works here.
I love it.
Yeah.
All right. Well, look, if you're rocking on, no matter where you're listening to the podcast this week, whether it's audio, whether you're checking it out on YouTube, or whether you're here live, we just want to say that we appreciate you hanging out and spending your time with us. We want to thank Jake for jumping in, and this has been. I knew this was going to be a good episode, kind of coming into it. I knew that it was going to be interesting and shit, and I feel like we've checked all the boxes in that respect. So you're not allowed to be a stranger, right? From here on in, you're going to have to come back at least annually. Okay.
Oh, sure.
Yes.
At least annually.
And then we can plot our improvements in drawing.
Yeah. We'll create a timeline. It'll be great.
I'm thinking I might do mine in crayons, actually. I might do it in crayons, like a Titan.
You're gonna pilfer your children's art supplies.
Yeah, I know that I've got shitloads of crayons. That's why I'm thinking about that. I'm not sure whether I've got watercolors. I might have jumped the gun. But no, seriously, man, thank you for making the time to come on. And yeah, definitely, with everything that's going on in the world, we hope that you stay safe until we get to have you on again. And I mean, that goes for everyone, but very, very, very appreciative of you making the time to come on and hang out with us, a couple of idiots from down under.
Yeah, thanks for having me on. Like, I've actually been podcast from the beginning, and I'm a pretty big fan. So like,
can you?
It's pretty exciting for me too.
All right. Well, now it's our chance to ask you a question.
Oh shit.
Why? That's the thing. Whenever we wrap up an episode, and some of them are like we have great episodes like this, and then some of them are just like me and Matt being fucking like losing the plot, and we're like,
those
why?
Are the best ones, though.
Yeah,
those
I think
are the best ones.
Sometimes we do our best
the
work. we try to cut back on the C-bomb, but anyway.
Yeah, I've seen improvements.
Thank you.
It's inspiring.
All right, Matt. Well, do you want to jump into where the law can find people this week? Hey, how about that?
The law will find you in a beautifully drawn watercolored Titan with a crayon outline.
Oh wow!
It was quite visual, wasn't it?
Yeah, that was. I mean, you know what? Out of that, I feel a little bit worried about this little contest we've got going on, because it turns out Matt might have just that little bit of art in him after all. I didn't see this coming. I didn't see.
Wordsmith.
Yeah. Wow. Fuck. I mean, okay. Yeah. Maybe that's where it ends. All right. We're gonna. Let's hope so. We'll see you next week. Thanks for hanging out. It's been an absolute fucking ripper. I'm stoked with this episode. We're gonna raid, so please hang by if you're in the stream right now. But until next week, stay safe and stay the fuck at home. Cheers.
Peace.
Just get to tell everyone to stay the fuck at home every week. It's great.